In this video, we'll be taking a look at percent and how that works, and also constant cell references. So right now I have 15% here. I'm going to delete that, and we're going to move this back to general. Okay, and we know that percents are fractions of 100 or decimals of 100. And so I'm actually going to put 0.15 in here because 0.15 is actually equivalent to 15%. I'm going to now change my format from general to percent right here. And okay, so there we go, 15.00%. I just wanted to say 15%, so I'm just going to move the decimal thing like that. Okay, so now I have 15%, but underneath that, it actually is 0.15. That's important to remember because, well, basically, if you put it as 15, here, let's try it. Let's put a 15 in here. It's just regular 15. And if I change this to percent, it becomes 1500%, 1500%. That's because when I'm switching to the percent format, it thinks that I should multiply by 100. Anyway, so that's why it's important to make sure that this number originally is a decimal number. We'll delete that. Okay, so I want to, for example, multiply, say I want to use this column of numbers right here, and I want to multiply it by 15%. So what I would do is I would say equals, and then I click in this box, and then I click multiply, which is star, and then I click in this box because this is what I want to multiply it by, just like that, and hit enter, and I get 30, which is indeed a correct answer. I mean, we can verify just by saying 200, star times 0.15. Didn't put the equals in. Equals, and it is 30. Okay. That's great. Now, as always, I can now copy it down like so. And I'm getting some weird answers here, guys. Like this became a 0 for some reason, and this became 400,000. This is 1,500. So I should, if from 200 it was 30, I should get like 300. It should be like 45, right? Instead, I get 0. So what's happening here? Well, if we take a look at what's happening in the formula, my original formula was this: E4 times C2, right? E4 is this blue one right here, and C2 is this red one right here, which was correct. But if I look at the next one's formula, okay, I have E5, so the blue one, that's correct, that's what I want, times C3, this red one, which is actually empty. So because Excel is smart enough to know that, okay, I'm copying down, so I want to go down, but it isn't smart enough to think, this one up here, this red one, the percent, I want to keep it as the 15% all the time. Instead, it thinks, oh, I'm going down, so I have to go down. And so here it's gone down. There's nothing in this cell. So actually, it's not correct. And we can see that in the next one, it's used this number right here at 1,000, which is not part of it at all. This 15% is what I want, not the 1,000. And so that's the problem. The way that we get around this problem is if we go back to our original one, okay, I want the C2, this C2, I want it to stay the same all the time. I want it to be always C2. And the way we do that is by putting $sign. So I'm going to put a $sign in front of the C, and I'm going to put a $sign in front of the 2. That means the C never changes, so it's always C, and the 2 never changes, so it's always 2. So it's always C2. So now when I copy and paste it, it's always going to be C2. Okay, so let's delete this, what I have before, and let's copy and paste this, and here we go. C2, 15%, C2, 15%, C2 15%, and C2 15%. It worked for all of them. So if I want the same cell every time, I need to use this $sign method to make sure that when I copy and paste, it's not going down with the other one. All right, so that's all for that video, and we'll see you in the next one.